for roll call?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. We're going to try and speed the meeting along as quickly as possible because we have introduction of the individuals who intend to run for the Federation Board. They've each, and there is 9 of them here, to do an introduction of themselves to the membership. They will have 3 minutes, so that's going to take close to a half hour of your time. So the quicker we can get through all the other things on the agenda and let them speak, the sooner we can get out of here. So, Mabel, I'll turn it over to you to do roll call.
Yes, sir. Andover A, absent. I don't have Andover B,
Present by proxy.
Andover E, absent. Andover G, absent. Andover H,
Present by proxy.
Bedford A, absent. Bedford B, absent. Bedford C,
Present by proxy.
Bedford D, absent. Bedford E, absent. Bedford F, absent. Bedford G, absent. Bedford H, absent. Bedford J, absent. Brookfield,
Present by proxy.
Cambridge A, absent. Cambridge E, absent. Cambridge F, absent. Cambridge H, absent. Cambridge I, absent. Cambridge K,
Present by proxy.
Cambridge L, absent. Cambridge M,
Present by proxy.
Canton Court D,
Present by proxy.
Dorchester A,
Present by proxy.
Dorchester B,
Present by proxy.
Dorchester C, absent. Dorchester D, absent. Fairfield A,
Present by proxy.
Fairfield C,
Present by proxy.
Fairfield D,
Present by proxy.
Fairfield H,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester B,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester C, absent. Gloucester D,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester E,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester F,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester G, absent. Gloucester H, absent. Gloucester J,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester K, absent. Gloucester M,
Present by proxy.
Gloucester N, absent. Oh, Grantham, Miss Liz is here. Grantham?
I'll sign her in. You're in.
Highgate A, absent. Highgate B, absent. Highgate C.
Yeah, she
Miss
checked in.
Jill, okay.
Oh, Jill.
No. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Highgate D. Highgate D as in.
Yeah, Wente.
Oh, I didn't. I'm busy talking, I'm sorry.
I gotcha.
Highgate E, absent. Highgate F, absent. Highgate 2, absent. Highgate 3, absent. Highgate 4,
Present by proxy.
Idlewood.
Inverness.
Oh.
Idlewood checked in, Alan.
Inverness after Idlewood.
Right, you didn't say Idlewood.
I'm saying Idlewood, present. There you go. And then Inverness.
Present by proxy.
Knowles 1. And we have the proxy, right?
Knowles 1. Present by proxy. We're using your proxy.
Knowles 2, absent. Knowles 3, absent. Lancaster 1,
Present by proxy.
Lancaster 2,
Present by proxy.
Lancaster 3,
Present by proxy.
Lancaster 4, absent. Lyndhurst, absent. Manchester 1, absent. Manchester 2.
No, she checked in.
Yeah, what? No, I didn't see San Raba. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I'm busy talking again. I'm sorry for today. I know, right? Manchester 3, absent. Nantucket 3,
Present by proxy.
Nantucket 4. You just got here? Last name, please. Shukley.
And do you need directed where to sit? Where's
Nantucket is on the ours.
our Selleck?
No, the Miss Bonnie, that's the Nantucket. There you go.
Thank you.
Nantucket 5, absent. Oxford 1. Mr. Mike is over there. Princeton.
Streeter, she checked in.
Why is this not? I'm not paying attention today. I'm at Princeton. Quail Pass. Absent. Radisson 1.
Present by proxy.
Radisson 2.
Present by proxy.
Richmond.
Present by proxy.
Southampton 1. Absent. Southampton 2. Absent. Tremont 1.
Present by proxy.
Tremont 2.
Present by proxy.
And Yorkshire.
Present by proxy. Because we have so many new presidents or board members with all the annual elections, please make sure when you come in, you come immediately up to the table, give us your association first, and then your last name so we can check you in prior to the meeting starting. Thank you.
Mr. President, we have a quorum of 72.3% with 3,992 units with 73 associations.
Thank you, Marbell. And with that, I will call the meeting to order. And before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I just want to add that if you read your bylaws and you read the operating procedures, it does require you in the operating procedures, if you attend the meeting, to check in. So I understand we have new presidents and may not understand that, but for those members who don't check in, you are not following the bylaws of the membership meeting that says if you attend in person, you're required to check in with the secretary and the administrative assistant. So I would only ask that those members who are new understand that Ma Bell and Janice, as the secretary of the Federation, sit up here, and I know you get here like at 9 o'clock in the morning to take them, that you step up and we'll try and make sure Ma Bell pays a little more attention in the future of who's here and who's not. So would you all rise for Pledge Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are you coming back, Ma Bell, or did you just decide you don't want to sit here anymore? Ma Bell knows that I love her dearly, and believe me, she picks on me as much as I pick on her. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the January 21st membership meeting. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes? Thank you, Dan. A second? Thank you. I'm going to ask, because the proxies are all yes, is there any objection from the floor for the approval of the minutes? Because being no objection, we will not do a roll call and consider the motion approved unanimously. Any objection from the floor? Then the minutes from the January 21st meeting are approved unanimously by the membership. That takes us to our management reports. I'm going to ask Keith to go first. And I've asked Keith to kind of do it as quick as possible so we can get on with the meeting. So,
as quick as possible? We'll see.
well, just don't make it long and drawn out.
I will. Is this working?
We always hold a little bet over here of who you're calling first. He lost today.
I lost. I don't know if that's coming on. Testing.
Tap on it.
Hello, hello. There we go.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
No, wait 1 second. Ginger, would you rather go first?
No, I just lost the bet. So. Well, good morning, everybody. I know there's a lot of new faces and new presidents out here representing a lot of the associations with all the annual meetings. Welcome. I'm going to run through the First Service Management Report, which references the stats for the month of January. So all the financials do come out as quickly as possible with Debbie Lauber in our office, so we kind of process those and get those out by no later than the 21st of each month. And we've processed almost all of the association approved budgets and are entering those into our system, and the coupon process will follow shortly after. I think there's one association that has to meet still, and so the coupons will be coming for your members, and that will arrive roughly in the middle of March, so they'll have plenty of time to get those processed and turned in for April 1st. You can go to the next slide, and the next slide's good. A couple administrative stats for the. Go to the stats. Yeah, go to the stats. For the Federation First Service Office, we had 53 transfers in the month of January and 31 new leases. We took about 2,800 phone calls. We processed 854 pest control appointments and had about over 1,000 walk-ins to the office. Go to the next slide. Quickly for insurance, the Insurance Committee, USI, and First Service met earlier this week, and we started to forecast and look at the renewals that will happen April 15th, 2022. So that process has ramped up, and we have some data coming in, and we'll have some new information on how we set those approval dates, and we'll have a special board meeting and a special membership meeting to make sure we can approve those new policies to line up with the renewal date of April 15th. So that renewal date kind of dictates how we set all the meetings up. Trash collection, we can just skip over that one, right?
From your lips to the ears of God.
light sarcasm for Friday to try to. So we're 17 days or so into the new contract with FCC. Again, this is both sides. So this is the residential side, those folks that have individual totes from Hillsborough County, as well as the commercial contract side, which those folks that utilize the dumpsters. So I think for the most part, the trash collection has been good. I think they had a couple hiccups the first week there and spotty pickup. But for the commercial side, Waste Connections driver that used to run the commercial dumpster route was hired by FCC, so that has improved their knowledge of the streets. You know, we did kind of let everybody know there'd be some hiccups coming into this. We obviously didn't anticipate it being a recycling issue, but we've ironed out lots and lots of issues with the recycling. We've had some meetings with FCC, their general manager, folks from the county, and have worked through some of the hurdles that they faced. There was some confusion on what a commercial recycling account looks like, especially with the community of Kings Point when it's residential homes and condominiums. So there was some confusion on how they were picking up the recycling. So again, we've worked through that. We've got some really, really interesting maps here, and a giant map where I've literally indicated every single recycling bin that's been out there for them. So trying to identify those side streets. I know we have a couple misses still. I think most of the part, everybody has been picked up in recycling this week. Like I said, I know there's some that have missed, but we've kind of pinpointed all those side streets that have some uniqueness to them. So we're continuing to push that out and work on that day by day. And Wednesdays now for the commercial dumpster counts will be a recycling day. Just a fun fact, recycling day for the residential is Saturday, and for the rest of Sun City on Saturdays now. And they project that there's a 90% participation rate in Sun City for recycling. So kudos to everybody in here, and it's a great number to have. And compared to Wednesdays for Ruskin, they have a 30% participation rate. So FCC has made a decision. We're pushing forward to just pick a day that works best for you for recycling. So the dumpster accounts will now be picked up on Wednesdays. I think they have more flexibility, and we've seen that this week. So
Before you leave that subject, I know recycling has, especially with the commercial contract, been a nightmare for many residents who have their own recycle bins and getting them picked up and getting them picked up at the dumpsters. I can tell you that probably a great part of Keith's day is speaking to or trying to contact FCC Environment. I know yesterday he had the county manager in charge of trash pickup and recycle pickup on the phone with FCC. Keith, I want to thank you. It is aggravating to the community. A lot of it goes to FCC not understanding what the county had previously agreed to with Waste Connections. I would only ask the residents, and I know it's frustrating, to give Keith, First Service, FCC, and the county an opportunity to iron out some of the problems. I know it is frustrating, but please try and be as patient as possible. Sending Keith an email, he's already got probably hundreds of emails from the residents on the issue. Sending him another email isn't going to help. It's just one more thing that he has to do. But Keith is working very, very diligently on the phone. In fact, I believe FCC will be here next week to go over some of the recycling pickup routes under the contract where people have the recycle bins that have dumpsters also. Am I correct?
yeah, they still have to change out the recycling bins because Waste Connection still owns the totes that are out there. So, and they're supposed to be picking those up at some time. So.
And Keith doesn't tell the whole story. The county advised FCC, which doesn't make any sense to me, and it probably won't to you either, that they could not use the residential recycling pickup trucks that are used throughout the rest of the community to pick up the recycle under the contract for the dumpsters. Doesn't make any sense of it's all recyclable, why can't they pick it up? But the county said, no, you can't use the recycle trucks that pick up the rest of the recycling throughout the county. I think Keith has worked that out with the county and FCC. But these are some of the things they're working in. Is FCC is given restrictions by the county. The county doesn't understand truly how Kings Point operates. So, Keith, thank you for your continued tirade with these individuals of trying to get them to understand how the county works and get the issue resolved so we can go back to the way it was. So I look forward to that day, and I know you do too. So, but thank you for your effort on that.
You're welcome. Any day now on the on ironing out. So, and I appreciate all the patience from the residents and the boards, and appreciate some of the help from the background historical knowledge. Mr. Wetmore assisted with that, and so I do appreciate all the help that we can get to help educate FCC and get this cleaned up for the community. So, thank you again. Next slide. I'll just run through this here real quick. Just a quick note, I'm sure we'll talk about it again, but the Disaster Symposium is going to be March 7th. There'll be some additional information coming out on that and how to sign up for it. And we've got out to have the board members, if you can print out and post it on your bulletin boards, or if you need copies, just let us know. We'll print them in color for you. You can post them on your bulletin board for this March 7th event. Last year was well attended. We're hoping for an increased attendance this year. And it's just going to be a flurry of information to help residents prepare for any disaster, and specifically hurricane season. So check it out, be on the lookout, and sign up when you can. Yeah, you were going to landscape. So the landscape contracts, we're waiting on just one signature back from one of the vendors. It had to go up to their corporate level pretty high just for signatures. So we're waiting on one of those, but we do have signed contracts from the other three. And for the fertilization. So we're all set for those, and we'll get Jack to sign those. Next page. Next landscape workshop is going to be February 25th, 9:30 in the Veterans Theater here. Last month we did everything about palm trees. This month we're going to have a new guest speaker that's going to be talking more about horticultural and fertilization and how that works and those kind of programs. So it should be some good information. We'd love to have you out and check it out and learn some stuff and ask any questions that you have. Palm tree trimming, the other fun topic. So the palm trees, we have a new system that we're going to be rolling out next week with Brown's Tree Service. We have different zone maps that we're using in a different work order process. So it's designed to eventually sweep through each of the streets around all the buildings in a succinct order that we came up with. So we're going to try to help improve that cohesiveness and sweeping through each place and making sure those brown fronds and stuff is addressed appropriately. And we'll be sending out a brief survey shortly to just kind of get some information and feedback on the palm tree trimming process. Mulch, there's a handful of mulch associations for the spring installation. So we'll be reaching out to those shortly to get that process going and get your orders in and get you lined up for installation in March. Last page. And lastly, quickly, some good information there about the after-hours emergency calls. Always making sure we have emergency contact information from your owners updated. And again, there is a board certification class February 24th. It's on a Thursday. So any new board members, I think all the CAMs have been talking to you after your meetings, but it is a required, one of the requirements to be able to be certified as a new board member. We strongly encourage this requirement versus just signing a form. So sign up if you haven't already. We can still take some folks. If you've already been through a class and you want to do it again, we welcome that as well. So right now I think we have 150 approximately signed up for it. And again, Bush Ross and Webb Milton will be presenting that education class. And that's it. It was not as quick as I was trying to.
You did that quicker than I thought we would get through it, so thank you, Keith. And we'll turn it over to Ginger, and I know Ginger prefers to sit instead of stand, so.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Not to dwell on the dumpster issue, and it's not on my slide there, but please understand, while we understand that you're frustrated in the associations, Please refrain from using the facility dumpsters. We've got our own troubles. We've got the same company, et cetera. Some inconsistencies, and of course, we've got much greater volume. I know last night myself, I was leaving work last night, and there was a resident that had just finished unloading his trash into the clubhouse dumpster here, and I think Matthew saw somebody doing it earlier in the week. So I know you're frustrated, but ours get filled up with, massive amounts of commercial. We've been, talking about that for years. So just be patient, I guess, as the rest of us have to, and we'll get through it. So getting over to the operational side, for the new members, we have Keith does one side of the community, and I do the recreational side. We explain a lot about what's happening in operations, just to give you an idea of the scope and volume of usage in the trust facilities. So here's the fitness programming. We have 8,300 users of the gym for January. That may not mean much to you, except over the course of the year, that number will be probably close to 140, 50,000. Very popular program out there. Land group class attendance goes up as water classes go down when the temperatures drop. So that's very typical for us, and over the month of January, 168 classes are taught. If you've ever been part of a gym or participated in any type of fitness programming, that's extraordinary. That's a lot of classes, so very active customer base here. Salon and spa usage for January. Here we had a higher month than December. That's not normal for us. Typically, December and the holidays are a very high usage in the salon especially, but I think we had some COVID scares there, and it was a little lower in December. 717 services, and there's your sales. Best month since COVID. We still are only about 81% of what was an aggressive budgeted plan, so we'll see that climbing more as season comes along here. Here's food and beverage. I won't go through and read all the numbers, but you can see here the number of patrons served. The sales for January were just spot on. I think it was 0.3%, a little bit over budget. And there's your La Perque sales, $3.39 average per patron. That means most people are probably just grabbing a cup of coffee out there. But we keep reporting to the board and trying to adjust the grab-and-go concept as we go forward to make that a little bit more efficient operation. Here's your projects. The South Club pool deck expansion is underway. We call it the Tiki Bar renovation. Some of the board members don't care for the word Tiki Bar or the name Tiki Bar, so we've talked about having a contest to name that out there. But phase 1 is what we call this, and it's underway. The earthwork and slab and paver demolition are completed. We're now working on plumbing installation and wall removal, as well as some rebar and footer installation. For those of you out there who are familiar with construction projects, we have to stop at the point where permitting is required. There's about, I think it's a 10 to 12 step process to go through the county, and they're 90% of the way through that. Victoria described to the board yesterday a lot of county evaluators are actually working from home, and they're going through the processes on their home computers. So we wait for that to be released, and then we'll get hopping and bopping there. But barring any future delays with labor shortages and supply chain issues, we hope for late summer completion of this. I'm sorry, not of this portion of the project. That's poor wording. It's of the entirety of the project. We did hello, coming over here. Oh no, okay. We did speak to the board yesterday, and any type of future phases and things like that are going to happen. We're going to have clear signage out there, clear communication if any places, walkways, or are blocked off, because you know what's coming here. It's season, it's spring break, families are going to be in town, and everybody loves to go to the pool. So with this project going on, we've got a lot of behind-the-scenes methodologies. It's not going to be perfect. I'm sure we'll get somebody who doesn't understand what's closed off or whatever and tries to access it in one way or another. But look for those communications if you're a regular user down there. Janice had mentioned she had a lot of people asking her. As soon as this permit's released and we get a little bit more heads up on, we can give you more timelines on that. And I'll be sure to show you the maps and things like that as we go. Because it's a big project. This is going to change a lot of things about the South Club. I'm sorry? Oh, so distracted up here. A lot going on. Okay, the 25-ton HVAC unit replacement. We had ordered that in. This is in the South Club. There's a wall that has to be removed to put it in, and it's just a beast. The company had, I think their whole team was out with COVID. They had some labor shortages, and we were ready to go. They opened up the unit, and guess what? It was damaged. Of course it was. So we're now waiting for the new one. I actually learned something I didn't know is almost all the HVAC units are no longer made in this country. I think there's 1 or 2 companies, Trane or Rheem or something, but this one's coming, wait for it, on a slow boat from China, right? You guys know that these ad-lib lines are well rehearsed. So as soon as that gets in, we will let you know when that project is going to be underway. North Court Complex Shuffleboard Courts project has been completed, and we understand that the users are elated. So that's a great word for us to hear, and we're happy they're back to shuffling. And then finally, the estimated date for delivery of the new tram, now slated for the end of 2022. Keep in mind, we ordered this thing in, let's see, it was May. So delay. Ford Motor finally said, you know what, we're not even going to build that anymore. This is going to be a 2023 chassis in this thing. So it's just crazy world out there. I believe, is it all right for me to say, Jack, about the board will be moving the funds forward to the future year because it's budgeted, it's in your plan, we just won't be able to spend that money, and so the board will make that official and move it forward. Just a couple things on special events. The only show that with real availability for tickets is the Kingston Trio, which actually shocks me because I love the Kingston Trio. I'm old enough to understand how wonderful. You don't even know what they sing, do you? No. With the tremendous success of the Winter Series, the team has added 2 more shows. And wait, I've got them here. This says the Eagles tribute, but there's also a Billy Joel tribute. And the Eagles will be, not the Eagles, but the alter Eagles are April 8th, and the tribute to Billy Joel is April 18th. So that's coming up. Just a couple reminders here, all of the special events we always have, Queen's Luncheon, the open air market, the monthly dinner, and on the garage sale, you all know how popular that is. We still have table availability for those of you who haven't gone out to your garages and seen some stuff in a while and want to get rid of it, those tables are still available. And the garage sale will be on March 4th and 5th. And then coming soon, the Brandon Ballet on April 9th. That ought to be lovely. Here's your transportation. I won't read through all these, just as Jack teases me, I say the wheels on the bus go round and round. And security, here's your numbers for January. The highest call volume was on January 27th, issued over 14,500 passes, drove around the community just shy of 2,000 miles, seeing what goes bump in the night, and they noted 22 incident reports. Notable here, we had a resident notify the front gate that there was a damaged car stopped on the grass near Fox Hunt. They observed the tire tracks in the grass indicating the vehicle had been driving the wrong way when they hit the 2 street signs and fortunately missed the fire hydrant. So they followed the tracks, continued up to where the car was located by the Spectrum and telephone junction boxes. And those were actually hanging from the undercarriage of the car. So this was quite a trek that this car took. Disoriented driver apparently was going to the drugstore. Hope he's okay. Security did contact 911 and Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, and the ambulance were on the scene and took care of the rest. And then finally, a call was received about a resident concerned about their neighbor. They knocked on the door, windows, emergency contact person was called, and the son was called, and he gave permission to the team to enter the home, gave him the door passcode, and this was a classic case of a resident had fallen and couldn't get up. And the assistance was given to help them, followed up by security recommending the squad. The resident refused that, but the son was notified. And this just really, you've heard me say this a dozen times, but this emphasizes the importance of the community watch culture that we have here in this community. You know your neighbors. If something doesn't seem quite right, just give us a call, because we'd rather come out and look or knock or ask than to have something worse occur. So kudos to the neighbors who had that heads up, and I'm sure that family was quite grateful that their family member got taken care of. And then the last thing is looking for a few good women and men. The Vestigate security team are hiring, looking for guards. We do employ a lot of residents here, especially the third shift was, as you can see by the time of that shift, is a tough one to fulfill. And if you know of any night owls, please give the gatehouse a call if you'd like to put in a couple hours. Sorry that was a little windy, but thank you, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Ginger. We will then go to committee reports, and Liz, do you have anything?
Of comments about the Palm and Tree Committee activities. As Keith just said in his report, that a new process is in order for how to get the work orders or whatever's going to happen for Browns for the maintenance program. That's been a big issue, and the maintenance program is a great concept, fantastic concept. Brand new in here, and we've been working hard to try and get that piece into place. And as I just said, Keith is working on a new process. He's done a new schedule for that week. And we've also discussed some other things, one of which is looking at the maintenance program versus the once-a-year major pruning, and then doing the maintenance monthly or doing the maintenance 2 weeks out of the month and doing a more in-depth trimming at that point in time. So we're moving along slow but sure, and the concept that Keith is talking about is that Browns will come in and do a sweep. We've gone from sweep to Ryan to work orders from the POCs so we're trying to figure out which is going to have the greatest benefit. And so we're looking at the sweep, and hopefully that will improve the service for the maintenance program. Thank you.
Janice, anything?
Yeah, the insurance committee, as Keith had mentioned, did meet this week. And the insurance premium numbers will be in by March 15th to USI. We then have a meeting with them on the 16th, the insurance committee, to come up with our recommendation for the board. We will take that to the board at the special board meeting on March 24th in the card room. That's a Thursday. Then once it's approved there, Ma Bell will send out the information on the insurance package to all of the presidents, and there will be a special membership meeting on April 7th here in the Veterans Theater, which is also a Thursday. So be on the lookout.
That's all? Janice left out one thing, and I know she's going to slap me in the back of the head after the meeting. In the meeting that Janice had earlier this week, USI gave some preliminary figures for property and casualty insurance, which is the bulk of our insurance cost. As you know, we have said everybody pray to keep the rates as low as possible. I can tell you from a property and casualty insurance that although the rates look like they're going up about 17%, at least for property and casualty, which is over $4 million, we are under the budgeted projected figures for property and casualty. We still have to go through the umbrella, the liability insurance, the D&O policies, which I know will be a challenge to USI, but breathe a small sigh of relief that at least from the property and casualty, we are within budget that was basically put in by Keith in the projections that the insurance committee gave. It was very fortunate that USI was able to get Heritage to do some things for this community. I don't know if you people read the paper a lot, but a lot of insurance companies are not writing policies for roofs that are over 5 years old. Some are 10 years old. Heritage basically waived the age of roof in the policy. It is fully covered, which they were able to talk Heritage into, is not worrying about the age of some of our roofs. But that is a big concern throughout the state of Florida, is the age of roofs. There's a lot of policies and homeowners that aren't getting policies because their roofs are over 5 years old, which to me is ridiculous when you have a guarantee on a roof for extended period of time. Your property is fully insured for full replacement cost, and USI agreed this year not to do a premium increase on the value of the property, which generally goes up 3 to 5% every year. And, you know, Janice, take the kudos for what the insurance committee and USI has done from that perspective, because it was probably the biggest concern the Federation had and USI had, is where was the property and casualty going to go. So kudos to the insurance committee and the work that you're doing to keep the rates within the budget so we don't have budget shortfall and we get halfway decent rates and coverage. So thank you very much. Tom, anything on the landscape?
Just waiting on that last signature.
Ellen, I know you have no treasurer's report. Therefore, I'll look at Barbara, and if she mentions website, I'll probably pass out.
Get a pillow. Actually, some forward momentum coming. The data has finally been transferred over to our new vendor. Thanks to a former promotional committee member, Eileen Pico, she was able to find someone she had originally worked with at the old company and convince them it was a good idea to work against their interests and actually get this moving along to the new company. So I appreciate that and look forward to getting some traction finally and getting this going. And I don't think I officially said the WS word, so you're
Thank you for not using the word website. It's a running joke between Barbara and I and I will tell you, Barbara has done a fantastic job in dealing with the CPC committee on the development of the new website. I know, I'm surprised she's not bald by ripping her hair out, but she worked strenuously on it. And Barbara, thank you for the continued dedication to getting this. And I know that you will be celebrating very highly the day the new website gets rolled out and we have it for the community. So thank you for your efforts on it. I know it is a very trying aspect, so thank you.
It does take a team, and I do appreciate everybody has helped out in this process.
That leaves my report, and I would only say, don't go too far, Liz. I would only say that it is good to see a number of candidates. This is the first time since I've lived in Kings Point that although we have 5 seats available, we have an election in every single district. It is very good to see that people are stepping up to the plate to run for the Federation Board. Unfortunately, one of the candidates who was supposed to do an introduction today, which is in District 2, which is Dave Tyson, and it's the reason there's only 9 people sitting up at the board instead of 10, is Dave Tyson sent me a note that his home COVID test came back positive to him this morning. He is on his way to his primary doctor right now. So I would ask that you keep him in your prayers. I know that with Dave's health conditions and stuff, COVID is the last thing he needs to get. So understand it's not that he did not intend to be here or is trying to blow off his introduction, but I think the people sitting on my right at that table probably would be glad he didn't show up and he tested himself before he did. I'm going to change instead of doing District 1, 2, 7, 8, and 9, I'm going to start basically at District 8, and that's why I said to Liz, don't go too far. Susan Martucci, who is running for director, has asked that she be allowed to go first because she has a commitment that she has to get to. And basically, Sue, I will turn it over to you for your introduction. You have up to 3 minutes. Mabel will let you know if you're getting close. And then we will give it to Liz to do her presentation.
Okay, thank you, Jack and the board. Good morning. My name is Sue Martucci, and I'm an eager candidate to represent District 8 on the Federation Board of Directors. My personal mottos are, change can be a good thing, and don't complain unless you're willing to make a difference.
You can either stand where you are or do it at the podium. It's your call, Sue.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay, perhaps you may have heard my name is late here in Kings Point. I'm often referred to as the tree lady. I'm a people person. I enjoy working with people and have been a school secretary and administrative assistant for 25 years, a job where you have to please everyone. About 10 years ago, I started a nonprofit to construct a most appropriate, deserving, and beautiful 2.5-acre living trees memorial park in my birth town in Connecticut that pays special tribute to 65 Connecticut fallen service members who lost their lives while serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. It also honors all veterans. It's called the Connecticut Trees of Honor Memorial, located in Middletown, Connecticut. Veterans hold a special place in my heart, with both my daughter and son-in-law having served multiple deployments in war veterans. I also enjoy getting involved and giving back to my community. It's important to me. My husband, Angelo, and I moved here not even 3 years ago from Connecticut to enjoy a fun and option-loaded retirement community and to be close to our grandchildren. While many may not give a hoot as to how Kings Point is structured and run, I quickly set about attending Federation and Master Board meetings to learn more. I found it quite informative, but complex, and I'm still learning. I felt drawn to getting involved in the community that governs itself. I thought it best to start at my association level, so I offered to serve as secretary for my association, Devonshire, which also led to becoming a POC for irrigation and landscaping, and as a representative from my district here. Having lived here 6 months, it was very exciting to finally secure a garden plot in the Kings Point Garden Club, a difficult thing to do these days. Gardening is one of my loves, and I found it daunting also. Florida gardening is surely a different animal than Connecticut gardening. Irrigation systems, reverse seasons, didn't know what to do. I learned quickly and asked questions. Within months, I offered to create a member handbook to help newcomers like myself get started with the needed basics of gardening and being a club member, bylaws, how to use the garden area, planting information, etc. In 2020, I became the education director for the Kings Point Garden Club and was appointed to the board in 2021. With the approach of the 21 holiday season and coming off so many weary and dreary months of COVID restrictions, the idea of a Festival of Trees seemed a novel and bright idea to present to the Kings Point leadership team. I diligently put together a detailed proposal offering to coordinate and execute the event, which was met with approval and enthusiasm. All the beautiful decorated and donated trees and wreaths that grace the North Clubhouse.
You got about 10 seconds.
Ooh, I can't finish. Made for a festival atmosphere. Okay, in conclusion, that went quickly. I'm really interested in serving on the Federation board. I learn quickly, I am a hard worker, and I will work for the benefit of all of you here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And to stay in District 8, the other candidate for directorship is Liz Argott.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Liz Argott, as just announced, and I'm running for my second term to represent District 8. Before retiring and moving to Kings Point, I worked for Hillsborough County Public Schools, the 8th largest school district in the nation, as a teacher and then as a district administrator. Meeting challenges head-on enabled me to develop many leadership skills, including proactive thinking, problem solving, budget development, and oversight, utilizing facts for decision making with an open mind. After retiring in 2004, I moved to Kings Point and discovered the benefits of volunteerism. Volunteering on various committees, my association board, and Samaritan Services have been very rewarding. Kings Point is a large, vibrant, active community, 5,595 units, 8,000 plus residents, equivalent to a small city, thus presenting limitless challenges and opportunities. There are some critical needs to be considered. Governance. The Federation Board and the Master Board, although having different responsibilities, must join together. Develop short and long-term range plans for Kings Point. Their responsibilities may be diverse, but their goals should be the same, the Kings Point community. Recreation facilities. We need to constantly monitor trends, evaluate the current residents, what they use and what they like to do, and what enhancements will draw future residents. New revenue. Before we were built out, annually, the sale of new associations that were being built brought new money to our community. Not so today. So looking at new revenue is very important. Marketing must be updated regularly, and continued growth and progress for our community requires the support of us, all of the residents, and our supporting entities. Last, but certainly at the top of the list, transparency. Not lip service, but communicating and informing the residents of what's happening and how their money is being spent. It would be an honor to apply my strengths and skills to ensure the community that I call home will continue to maintain the lifestyle we love. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'll call on Eileen Pico from District 9.
Good morning. I'm Eileen Pico, the president of the Kensington Association, and I'm running for the District 9 seat on the Federation Board. I have lived in Kings Point for about 15, 16 years and have served on a variety of boards and committees, both in Kings Point and in other planned communities where I have lived. I was the board chair of the Emergency Squad for 6 years, and prior to Kings Point, I served on the Community Resource Advisory Board for the town of Fort Myers Beach. My detailed resume will be sent along with the ballot that you will receive. My chief background is in marketing and business and strategic planning. My hopes for Kings Point include: we need effective planning for the community. Planning that considers the needs and desires of the owners and includes input from owners as conditions change. As Federation president for 4 years, a while ago, I led the development of the initial 5-year plan for Kings Point that resulted in the 2020 Fitness Center, major enhancements to both the north and south clubhouses, initial updates to lawn bowling and shuffleboard, and ended with the development of pickleball, to name a few of the lifestyle enhancements. We conducted a major survey of the owners to determine their lifestyle interests for input to this plan. After all, we owners are paying the bills. It's time for a new 5-year plan with owner input. We need to ensure that our fees are spent wisely. We cannot have secrecy regarding how our funds are used. It's easy to just say, cut the budget, but this can lead to unexpected negative impacts on the lifestyle we all moved here to enjoy. Let's spend wisely. Owners must be kept fully informed of all decisions taken by the leadership elected to serve our owner interests in Kings Point. Unbudgeted board initiatives, including legal actions, need to be brought to the membership for our input. Transparency is critically important, both planned and unplanned. And finally, all leadership entities must work together for the benefit of the owners and associations in Kings Point. Governing and leadership entities need to stay in their lane, provide the best service to the owners and their associations, and join in celebrating this wonderful community called Kings Point. I'm asking for your vote for District 9. Thank you.
Now we'll go back to Section 1, and I would call upon James O'Malley. No, I'm calling upon James O'Malley. Oh, I'm sorry. Liz, James, you can sit down for a minute. I left off Ray Shaw from District 9, so Ray, I apologize. It is my error. I didn't mean to leave you out. So please accept my sincere apology.
No problem. First off, I determined I'm the tallest guy that's running for anything, but if that means anything. Sure. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. I am Ray Shaw. I live in Maplewood. I've lived in Kings Point for 8 years, and I've been in Florida for 35 years. Prior to coming to Kings Point, I lived in Clearwater, Florida, where I was involved in government there, not as an employee, but I was the chairman for the Park and Rec Department for 6 years, actually 6.5 years, during which time, due to the economy, we had to cut 30% of the staff and 30% of our budget. That wasn't fun, but we were able to accomplish that through the work of that committee and improve the parks, actually develop a new dog park, which ended up being the 4th best dog park in the United States. I'm a dog owner. I was thrilled with that park. We not only redeveloped, we built the new Phillies Stadium, and we improved multiple stadiums and parks and involvement, all by saving 30% of the budget. We had more involvement, more people participating at a lower cost. It can be done. I am active in the Masons and Shriners. I was one of the founding founders of a Rotary Club in the area that I was in. I'm not currently a Rotary member in this area. We moved here because it was time to downsize, and we found Kings Point, which wasn't hard. We found it in part because I am a liability insurance adjuster, working with well over 155 and older communities anywhere from Marco Beach to north of Tallahassee. I work in the insurance industry and have worked in the insurance industry for 42 years. Prior to that, I was a school teacher for 7 years, and I would have stayed in education, but I had a student that showed up the first day of class, the last day of class, decided to miss the rest of the class, and he failed. And then next year, he ran for school board, and he became my boss, and it wasn't a good situation. To today, he has not graduated from high school. I'm running in Kings Point because I love this community, and I've had an opportunity and continue to have an opportunity to see other communities similar to ours, some of them larger than Kings Point, very few, and most of them much smaller. They all seem to have the same problems we do, and the same things that they like about their communities that I hope most of us do. I'm not going to take 3 minutes. I would hope that I will be elected. I admire and respect everybody that's running, even my opponent. Anybody that volunteers has my respect. I do believe there are ways of saving money and maintaining the culture we have here. And I think it is behooving all of us that we find those. And if we can save a nickel here and a nickel there, we don't hurt people, and we can help them. I have made an effort to go around, and I've talked now to well over 200 people in District 9, and I find they all have the same desires. They like it here.
And Ray, your time has expired.
Okay, I lied. I did talk 3 minutes. Have a good day.
Now, Mr. O'Malley. Yes. And to you, I also apologize for calling you up before I called Mr. Shaw up.
Hi, my name is Jim O'Malley.
I originated in Brooklyn, New York. I had two older brothers who have preceded me in death. I graduated from New York University. I majored in economics, banking, and finance, which included insurance. I had a scholarship to a school in England, the School of Economics, and I was there, and then I received a letter that I should have asked for permission to leave the country from the draft. And I wrote back and I said, where did you come up with this? Is there a rule or regulation? And then on November 22nd, our President Kennedy died. And I was living at the Charter Club at the time and going to school. And I knew that my time was up. And I wrote back and I said, well, you know, if you want me to take a physical, I'll take a physical, but you make the arrangements. And they did. I took a physical at the Ruislip Air Force Base, which is about 30 miles west of London, by a flight surgeon. So I knew that they were after me. So I joined the Army, and I went for basic training in Germany, as opposed to the normal way of doing things. And I went along with it, and I guess I was not sure what I wanted to do. And to this extent, over the last 50 years, I've always more or less taken the road less traveled. And Lewis Carroll, who is the author of Alice in Wonderland, had Alice ask the Cheshire Cat, and in asking the Cheshire Cat for directions, the Cheshire Cat said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And basically, I've been in government. I've been a commissioner with the City of New York. I've been in human resources. I've been a director at the Port Authority before 9/11, when the buildings came down. I've been involved in so many different social programs in the New York area. And I've been to St. Petersburg and came over here back in, I guess it was 2015. And I visited friends here, and I became familiar with this community to a certain extent as a visitor. Then in 2019, I purchased property here, and I'm a member of our association. And I really enjoy the people here more than anything else. I've traveled quite a bit, and the folks here seem to be very open.
James, you're going to have to
You may not have
bring
to
it
cut
down.
short.
You already reached your 3 minutes.
You owe me something.
I also owe the other people the same fairness, so.
So basically, I've been with technology, and this item that I have here represents a computer that is about half the size of the room here of the computers that I first worked with. And I've been with the information technology for the last 40 years, teaching organizations how to use computers, teaching staff, replacing staff. I've been president of a consulting organization, and I would love to contribute my skill set, my experience, to enhance the effectiveness of the Federation for the residents of this community. I thank you very much.
The other candidate for District 1, and to distinguish between Ray Shaw and Ray Hunsaker, we will call him Raymond. So, Ray, I will turn the podium over to you. If you didn't hear what he said everybody loves Raymond. I have disputed that issue with him numerous times.
Greetings, I'm Raymond Hunsaker Jr., a candidate for the director in District 1 for the Board of Directors of Federation. In 2018, I became a resident here. After a short time, I purchased my unit in Andover F. I was recruited for POC irrigation a short time later, taking on even more responsibilities and becoming landscape POC as well. In 2020, I became a director of Andover F and was appointed treasurer, and shortly thereafter assumed the position of secretary as well. Since 2019, I've served as a member of the Federation Insurance Committee. I have 40 years of professional experience in risk management, insurance procurement, analysis, and assisting with claims fact-finding. This should all serve well for the residents if I'm elected as Federation Board, to the Federation Board. In the 80s, I helped as a director expand an athletic association in the St. Louis County area from a few hundred players to several thousand. As a Federation director, I'm willing to devote the time necessary to find ways to increase revenue and reduce costs while maintaining the tremendous value we have here. Again, I'm Raymond Hunsaker Jr., a District 1 candidate for Federation Board. I'm asking residents in my district, one, for my vote, or for your vote. I'm privileged to have this opportunity to serve the residents of Kings Point. Thank you very much.
The Standing Elections Committee originally certified 3 candidates for District 1, the third candidate being Patricia Watkins of Andover C. Mabel received an email from her earlier this week that basically she asked to have her candidacy withdrawn. So we have withdrawn her candidacy from the election for District 1. With that, I will turn it over to Jim Gundry in District 2, who is running for office.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jim Gundry. I'm currently the president of Gloucester D. I've met most of you in this room, the president's here, and I hope if you haven't, you will get to know me. I've lived in Kings Point for 7 years. I have lived most of my life in Florida, and I'm a University of Florida alum, so don't hold that against me. I'm a longtime resident of Hillsborough County of over 40 years. I own my own small business, which was print and advertising sales for newspapers and magazines for 16 years, and I had 5 employees. Prior to that, I worked in the newspaper industry in advertising sales and departmental management. In addition to being president of Gloucester D, I also serve on the board of directors, and I'm treasurer of the Samaritan Services here in Sun City Center. I also served in various positions and board member of my previous condo association in Tampa for 10 years, 7 of which when I was president. I want to encourage all of the District 2 owners to the Meet and Candidates program on March 1st. It is important that you learn about the candidates and above all, vote. We need your participation in choosing who is going to represent District 2 for the next year on the Federation Board. District 2 has been without a representative for almost a year now, I believe. If anybody here from District 2, if you want to talk to me after the meeting, I'll be happy to meet with you. District 2 is a bit unique because we cover 634 units spread out across a very large geographical and cut-up area of Kings Point. We have much in common and with common concerns. I'll also be happy to, if elected, to meet with the District 2 individual community associations, as I prefer calling all of our individual associations. I prefer to call them community associations because that's what we are. To discuss any Federation issues and questions you may have and to help educate you and your owners about the Federation and what we do here in Kings Point. We need to spend more time on working out our problems and concerns on a face-to-face basis and with constructive conversations and a compromise when necessary. I also want to stress, as several have, that we need better communication and transparency across all of our boards here in Kings Point. All of those of you who have attended the various meetings in your own associations, we need to try to work together, but we need to be open with our owners and be above board. Again, that's it. I would hope everyone will be here on March the 1st again for meet and greet the candidates. And I'm looking for your support for District 2. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. I did receive a text from Dave Tyson. It has been confirmed that he does have COVID, and he wanted me to express his apologies for not being here. So please keep Dave in your thoughts and prayers. I believe he's back home right now, and I asked him if I could share with the members in attendance that he actually does have COVID, and he said yes, otherwise I wouldn't have done it. So I had his permission to do that. So I apologize that he can't do his introduction, but I'm sure when the ballots are mailed that he will include a resume with his ballot, so at least you get to understand his background. With that, we will go to the last district, which is District 7, and I will call upon Shirley Bartel to introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shirley Bardell. I have lived here since 2012. I am married to Mike Bardell. We have 5 children, 8 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. We have always brought our children up to believe that volunteerism was a requirement in whatever community they lived in, and I'm proud to say they're all doing that. I'm a veteran. I was in the Army Nurse Corps for 12 years. I was assigned to a MASH unit, just like you see on TV. I also served in Desert Storm. Previous professional accomplishments, I was a paralegal. I've spent 50 years in critical care, helicopter transport, and emergency operations. I've had numerous high-level management positions, from director to vice president to corporate compliance officer of a large healthcare organization that's national. I know about bylaws. I know about standard operating procedures. I've done 1 million budgets. I understand the requirements that will be needed to be successful on this board. Currently, I represent you, this community, on the Emergency Medical Planning Council of Hillsborough County, which was appointed by the county commissioners. I also represent you on the statewide disaster committee of the Emergency Medical Services Division in Tallahassee. My newest appointment is I am now a director on the board of directors of South Bay Hospital. I've been an EMT for 8 years with the squad. I held 2 positions there. One was assistant chief of education. The other was assistant chief of medical and infectious disease. I am still in that position and have been very busy the last couple of years with COVID, keeping the squad on the road, keeping the members safe, and planning your activities for your vaccinations and your testing. My vision for the Federation going forward, and also for the people in District 7, I want more transparency. I want you guys to know what's going on. I want to hear your feedback. I want to take problems that are identified at the board level to district meetings so that you can talk to me. Tell me your issues. Tell me what you think works. One of my best skills is having people work together. The Master Board and the Federation Board need to work together. This is a really, really non-united community right now. We need to fix this. We can do this. I've done it many, many times. I encourage you to make sure that we have better communication out there. There's a lot to be done, and we all need to participate. I would be proud to serve as your representative on District 7 to the Federation Board. Thank you.
And last but not least, the other candidate in District 7 is Del Dewar. I will turn the podium over to you.
Thanks, Jack. Good morning, everyone. Many of you may know me. For those of you that don't, my name is Del Dewar, and I'm very happy to announce that I am running for District 7. I have many new ideas and a fresh outlook to share with the Federation Board. I realize there are many responsibilities serving on the Federation Board, not only to District 7, which I look forward to representing, but also to our community. I will work on making a difference to everyone in District 7, as well as to everyone in the Kings Point community. What I'm bringing to the table, I have over 20 years that I have gained in leading and being a part of HOA and COA association boards across the country in serving a diverse population of residents in singles, professionals, young families, and retirees in the communities that I have lived in. In Southern California, in the beach town of Laguna Beach that I lived in with my husband, I was the president of the community board of 300 townhouses, and we worked very closely with the town leaders and the local police. In North Texas, when we moved into a single-family housing community of 2,900 homes, shortly after moving in, I volunteered for the newly created Homeowners Board. Soon after that, I was involved in writing the rules and regulations for our amenities, our pools, playgrounds, dog park, hiking, and walking trails. Shortly after, I was appointed as president to the Homeowners Board, made up of 12 residents, including a full-time attorney. I also led a community to work with the landscaping contractors on selecting Texas weather-tolerant plants throughout the grounds. I am currently a member of the Federation Landscape Committee, so I know when we're talking about tolerant plants and those that are conducive to our weather. In 2013, I moved to Kings Point, and in 2014, I was appointed by the sitting board to redirect the board as the way it was going. I restructured the board, and together we made changes for our association. I have been, as I just said, a member of the Landscape Committee, and I am currently Vice President of the Recreation Facilities Rules Association here in Kings Point. My education, I hold a Bachelor of Science in Human Resources Management, and I hold a Master's in Public Administration with a concentration in policies. My employment was both private companies, developing policies and procedures, and with the federal government, I was a private contractor in various branches of the military. I plan on reaching out with District 7 presidents and the residents to listen, to identify their ideas, thoughts, and suggestions and issues that they are facing. With the Federation Board, I want to bring in my new ideas and fresh thoughts to the table. Work together on controlling cost and ways to stop the increases on our monthly dues. Learn from our past mistakes. Identify ways to increase revenue. All of our associations have recently experienced a substantial increase.
You're going to have to wrap it up.
In our monthly fees. We need to be proactive stance, take a proactive stance and find better ways to control costs. When you start filling out your ballot, think of this. Vote for the candidate for your district who has new ideas and fresh blood and no personal agenda. I am Del Dewar, and I'm running for District 7. Thank you for your vote. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Del. And for those present, if you would like to know what the schedule is, because it was mentioned, Tuesday, March 1st, in the Veterans Theater from 9 till noon will be a Meet the Candidates. They will be given 1 minute to introduce themselves, and they will be asked questions, which will be moderated by Keith Wilking. They will be given 2 minutes to answer the questions. That's basically going to take up the majority of the time. There's about 7 questions that were put together by the Standing Elections Committee, ensuring that there was no politics involved in the questions. They were generalized questions, and that is on Tuesday, March 1st, here in the Veterans Theater, and I would suggest everyone encourage their residents to attend. The ballots will be mailed on March 4th. They must be returned no later than Monday at 5 p.m. on March 21st, which will give 2 weeks for people to send in their ballots. The ballots will be counted by the Standing Elections Committee, along with some volunteers from First Service who have done it in the past. And on Friday, March 25th, which is the next membership meeting, the announcement will be made of who has been elected to the board. And directly following that meeting, the new board will have an organizational meeting electing the officers going forward for the 22-23 year. With that, there were no open forum requests, so I would open it up to any good and welfare announcements. If there are no good and welfare announcements, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. The meeting is adjourned.